Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Willet, where tonight we will have the rubber game of the three-game Babe Ruth Championship Series for 2019. Mike Crowley along with Brian Dunn, and Dunny is also doing the camera work tonight, so you're wearing two hats tonight, Dunny.
Exactly. I'm doubling up. I'm taking some creative liberties here, and I got a microphone wired up, and I'm ready to go. And you and I were talking before, this could be a really good rubber match.
Yeah, I agree. These are two very evenly matched teams. Game two was a dandy. It was close for 5 innings, and the White Sox broke it open with some really well-executed small balls, so kudos to them. So this should be a great one. Here are your batting orders for tonight. The White Sox will, of course, be the home team. They're out in the field first. So leading off for the A's tonight, we'll have George Tolman. He'll be followed by Jack Cropper, and then Sean Dittmeyer, then Zach Agonis, and Timmy Grenham, then Ryan Keneally, then Sean Collins, then Axel Ekberg, and batting 9 tonight will be Paul Sheehan. When the White Sox come up to bat, at the top of the order it'll be James Gamble, followed by Miles Kidd, then Justin Skihill in the 3-hole. Batting fourth will be Michael Randall, then Mike Katruba, then Simon Jawhar, then Ethan Brownbill, then Joe Petrozelli, and batting 9 tonight will be Jordan Woodley. And it was a really well-played game in game number 2, Dunny. Really high-quality Babe Ruth baseball. Not many walks, good defensive play, and they got the big hits in the small ball when they needed it.
I was going to say, it's definitely like a baseball fan's dream match. It was a big pitching duel. Not a lot of runs were scored. I think maybe the 5th inning was the first run that scored. And the White Sox, credit to them, in the 7th inning, they really got the job done. They got the suicide squeeze. I believe Miles Kidd was the one who got the bunt off to make that happen, and they forced a game 3, and here we are.
Yeah, very impressive. In my pregame interviews, Coach Leidy was telling me that about the White Sox, they can play big ball when they need to, but they're also very skilled at playing small ball, as you saw there in game number 2. Coach Hawley said his team is ready. The A's can really put the bat on the ball, Denny. They are very dangerous offensively.
Absolutely, and I think listening into some pregame comments before both teams take the field, I think the theme here is they want to jump on both pitchers early, try and see if they can get an early edge here in the couple.
So we're just about ready to go. Joe Petrozelli will get the ball tonight for the White Sox. And this one should be a dandy. This is number 6, George Tolman, left-handed batter. He will be leading off tonight for the A's, and we are ready to get underway. Joe Petrozelli kicks and delivers, and that first one is high. So George Tolman is ahead 1-0. Again, you're watching Game 3 action, 2019 Babe Ruth Championship Series.
And these first 20 pitches, for the most part, is really where teams sort of get to feel out the pitcher, see what he's throwing, see what kind of speed they're working with, and see if they want to kind of get aggressive or, let the pitches come as they come.
That one's a little bit outside, so George Tolman has Petrozelli right where he wants him with a good hitter's count at 2-1. Beautiful night for baseball from the Willet. It's about 80 degrees. And he beats that one on the ground to first. And he's going to reach. So George Tolman is aboard.
So that's a good start here for the A's. They get Tolman on board.
And this will bring up a very dangerous hitter for the A's. This is Jack Cropper. He's also on the hill tonight. He hits the ball hard everywhere. So they're going to have to be really careful with him.
So, Mike, you were here for Game 2. What's the scouting report on stolen bases? As I guess say that, George takes second.
I think the key is in the jump. Both catchers have good arms, but you have to give the pitcher the chance. You have to give the catcher the chance to get the ball down there. So we saw the White Sox were very good at holding runners close in game number 2. They're going to have to do as good of a job here, or they're going to have some trouble.
It's a cat and mouse game almost, because if you do make that throw, you risk either overthrowing it or something happening where they could almost take multiple bases, and you can see the White Sox there a little more conservative.
And that was a nice play out there by Justin Skihill, who is at shortstop tonight for the White Sox. He ranges a little bit back to pull on that one. So Jack Cropper is retired. And this will bring up Sean Dittmeyer, who also had a very good game in game number 2. So he'll face Joe Petrozelli with 1 out and George Tolman down at second. George Tolman with a 3-step lead down at second base. And that one is in there to Sean Dittmeyer. We're in number 10 for the A's. You can see Miles Kidd is very close to second base. They're concerned about George Tolman scoring on a single. That one is launched foul down the left field line.
Well hit, too.
Joe Petrozelli doing a good job of throwing strikes here in the first inning action. Coach Lighty said he has confidence in all of his starters. Any of them are ready for the big stage. So he feels good about tonight. Big jump for George Tolman and no throw.
So as I mentioned earlier, this is a huge part of the game is base running. So George gets 2.
So now the A's with a great chance. And that one is going to drop in left field. So the A's jump out quickly to a 1-0 lead. Sean Dittmeyer with the RBI single to left, scoring George Tolman.
That could not have been a perfect 1-2 sequence there. George steals third base, puts himself in prime position to score, and the base hit that drives him in.
And up comes the number 4 hitter for the A's, and he is a very dangerous line drive hitter, Dunny. This is Zach Agonis. He crushed the ball 3 times in game number 2. I think he hit it so hard twice that it didn't have a chance to climb. So 2 line drive outs. He was officially 1 for 3 in game number 3. But this is a nice opportunity for the A's with Sean Dittmeyer out at second base.
Yeah, one of those stingers where it doesn't even hit the ground before it hits the wall.
And he takes a strike. So the count goes to 1-1 to the number 4 hitter for the A's. This is Zach Agonis. You can see they're holding Sean Dittmeyer close at second base. Haven't drawn a throw yet. Swings through that one. So Sean Dittmeyer will end up down at third base.
So once again, don't have to do anything spectacular here. You can just put one in the left center, right center gap, and that's a 2-0 lead right there.
So 1-2 is the count to Zach Agonis. Where's number 11 for the A's? And he launches one deep. That's going to drive the right fielder back. That's going to one-hop the wall. Dittmeyer scores easily. Zach Agonis on his way to second. So the question was, should he get third base, on interference to the runner? But Zach, being the gentleman that he is, told the umpire that it was more him than the fielder. So he will be down at second base. This brings up Timmy Grenham, of course, who did an excellent job on the hill for the A's back in game number 2, recorded 10 strikeouts. And he faces Joe Petrozelli with Zach Agonis out at second. And he takes a strike.
They really can't ask for a better start here for the A's. 2 big hits, 2 RBIs.
Yes, they scored George Tolman and Sean Dittmeyer again. That's going to be a big problem. Those big jumps, Joe Petrozelli is going to have to look those runners back to second base, or it's going to be a long night for the White Sox.
Yeah, that's the thing that's intrigued me the most right now is that they're kind of just letting them take second and third.
So Timmy Grenham takes that strike. Still only 1 out in the A's first. They have 2 in. They get Zach Agonis down to third. And Timmy Grenham swings through that pitch, so he's retired on strikes. So that's the second out for the A's. This will bring up number 12, Ryan Keneally. And he faces Joe Petrozelli with Zach Agonis down to third. He's a little ahead of that breaking pitch, so he's down 0-1. Petrozelli to the set, and he delivers. And that one is hit hard out to Miles Kidd, but he's there. Strong throw to first, and the A's are retired. So Ryan Keneally is retired 4-3, but not before the A's get 2. We played a half of an inning here from the Willett, and the score is A's 2 with the White Sox coming up to bat, and we'll be right back.
Do you want to stay up to date with Nord Community Media? Then subscribe to our weekly NCM newsletter. Every Friday, our promotions department publishes an online newsletter that highlights the work of NCM and the latest happenings. It includes the full episode of Norwood News, recent clips from NCM programs, behind-the-scenes photos, and so much more. NCM works hard to deliver a steady stream of Norwood content, and this newsletter is another way to stay connected to Norwood. To receive the newsletter, just visit www.norwoodcommunitymedia.org. Scroll to the bottom of the page, click the Sign Up for Our Newsletter button, and enter some basic information. You'll then be added to our newsletter mailing list. It's all here on Norwood Community Media, your home for all things Norwood.
All right, and we're back, and again, you're watching Game 3 of the 2019 Babe Ruth Championship Series from the Willett on the 27th of June, 2019. Mike Crowley along with Brian Dunn.
Let's go.
And we're just about ready for the White Sox to have their first at-bat. This will be one of the reigning 2019 Norwood High School Technology Olympics champions, James Gamble.
Very good tidbit there. We were just talking between the break. These are the 13, 14, 15 kids, so you're gonna get a good mix of, some 7, some 8, but a lot of high school freshmen too. So the future of Norwood High baseball is kind of unfolding here as we play.
Yeah, and I think it looks really, really bright, Denny. So the A's tonight in the rubber game, they have their ace on the hill in Jack Cropper. I was watching him in his warm-ups, and he looked sharp. He had command of all 3 of his pitches. Everything was from the knees or lower. He looked pretty good, I'll tell you.
Yeah, with the 3-game series, you probably want to set it up that way where if you need a game 3, you want to have your number 1s going.
Yeah, and he's overpowering in terms of his fastball, good command. So he is James Gamble down 2 strikes, and there's the 3rd one. So James Gamble is retired on strikes. This will bring up Miles Kidd, who's out at second base tonight for the White Sox, and he'll be followed by Justin Skihill.
So Miles Kidd was was responsible for that game-winning run in the 7th that kind of opened up the scoring for the White Sox to get to this point.
Very impressive. That was, what I love about Norwood Babe Ruth baseball is the quality. For a younger player to actually drop that bunt down at that time and put it where he put it was very impressive. So here's a bouncing ball back to Jack Cropper, and Miles is retired. Yeah, that was very impressive. Very impressive. That is just good quality baseball.
Yeah, at this level, once you graduate Little League, it kind of becomes a little more competitive. So you got to find alternative ways to get runs in, and that's a prime example right there of just good textbook baseball.
So this is Justin Skihill. He was the pitcher for Game 2, did an excellent job in the hill and helped his own cause with the big hit late in that game. So he's down 0-1 to Jack Cropper. On the break-in pitch, it's a grounder out to short. And they're going to retire Justin Skihill, 6-3. So we played 1 here at the Willett, and your score through 1 inning is A's 2, White Sox 0, and we'll be right back.
Stop by the Norwood Morrill Memorial Library and check out magazines, newspapers, DVDs, and of course, books. The library also offers a variety of services, including passport renewal, a notary, and tutoring, with multiple different meeting rooms which can be booked for your convenience. Take advantage of online digital resources and get assistance with all of your research needs. Kids can enjoy the children's room stocked with books and toys. There are also a variety of programs for children and adults. And if you can't make it into the library can come to you with home delivery. The library is open Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., and on Fridays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. To learn more, go to www.norwoodlibrary.org.
All right, and we're back, everyone, for top of the second action. And again, this is the 2019 Babe Ruth Championship Series. This is the rubber game, Game 3, from the Willett. And this is Michael Randall leading off in the second. And check that, this is Sean Collins leading off in the second for the Athletics. He's facing Joe Petrozelli. So that one goes to the backstop. So the count is 1-1 to Sean Collins. Faces Joe Petrozelli. Swings through that one, so he's down 0-2.
So I want to mention just really quickly, you mentioned that the A's pitcher, he gets it low in the zone, right? So that's difficult for a lot of batters because not only are they extending, but to get that ball into the center field, left field area, they're going to have to really get good contact on the bat, which is difficult when you're having a pitcher that has low strikes and with good speed as well.
Yeah, I agree, and he definitely has both. He's impressive out there in the first inning. So they're going to say that was a ball. So Sean Collins is alive at 2-2. Petrozelli delivers, and he hits a hard line of up through the middle. So Sean Collins is aboard with a single up the middle. This will bring up Axel Ekberg. So we'll score that a single up the middle for Sean Collins. This is Axel Ekberg. And he takes a strike. And Axel Ekberg stands in, facing Joe Petrozelli. Petrozelli to the set. And he delivers. That one is up high. So the count is 1-1. Again, it's been a very well-played series on both sides.
Yeah, you can't argue these teams don't deserve to be here.
And so Axel Ekberg legs it out of first base, so he's safe. But they retire Sean Collins at second base for the first out of the inning for the A's. So Axel Ekberg reaches on a fielder's choice, so he's aboard. This will bring up Paul Sheehan. He wears number 1 for the A's. He faces Joe Petrozelli. And Axel Ekberg with a good jump. And, he doesn't draw a throw. So he's going to be out at second base with 1 out.
I think he realized last second that there wasn't anybody covering the bag.
And they're not holding him on either. So if he can bleed one through here. So that throw gets away at first base. This is going to bring another run around for the A's. So Axel Ekberg will come around to score. Paul Sheehan goes down to second base on the error. So that's the third run in for the A's. This brings up top of the order, George Tolman. And he scored the first run for the A's back in the first inning. He's facing Joe Petrozelli. And this is for the second time. And he lifts one just foul down the right field line.
Yeah, that one was poked. That almost dropped. That would have been a great play.
Yeah, and that right fielder would have had a long run for that ball as well. So George Tolman steps in, facing Joe Petrozelli. 1 run in here in the second for the A's. That one's fouled at the plate. And out of play.
So this is an interesting turnaround here because with the White Sox with 2 outs, they had to play it first to end the inning, but now the A's not only get a run, they got another runner in scoring position to try and extend.
Golden opportunity. And that's another foul ball.
And again, that's another pitch low in the zone. That's hard to make good contact on.
Yeah, Joe Petrozelli has thrown a lot of strikes. It's been a well-played game so far. He's now walking people and making them hit it. And the A's have just done a good job of finding the open holes. That one's hard on the ground to second base. Out to Miles Kidd. Picks it up. And he retires George Tolman at first with the second out.
Made that one close, though.
Yeah, he did good wheels on number 6 there, George Tolman. So this will bring up Jack Cropper, tonight's pitcher, and is the ace of the staff for the A's.
Oh, excuse me, that's 2 outs. I thought that was the 3rd out.
So Jack Cropper with a chance to help his own cause here. He's a very, very good contact hitter. He takes one in the dirt. James Gamble did an excellent job in game number 2 behind the plate. For the White Sox, doing the same thing again tonight. Very solid back there.
I was a catcher when I was in my Little League days, and I remember on hot days like this, you ask for quick innings.
And that's lifted on the right-hand side. This should be playable. And it is. Joe Petrozelli does an excellent job. He gets Jack Cropper to pop out to first. And that retires the A's, but they get 1 in. And we've played 1.5 here at the Willett in the 2019 Babe Ruth Championship game. Game number 3. And the score is A's 3, White Sox 0. White Sox coming up, and we'll be right back. All right, and we're back, and we're ready for our bottom of the 2nd action. And this will be the White Sox up to bat. Leading it off in the bottom of the 2nd for the home team will be Michael Randall, his first time up tonight. And he will face Jack Cropper. Jack Cropper had a 1-2-3 first inning with 1 strikeout. That one's just a little bit low to Michael Randall. He lays off that one. He's ahead 1-0. Jack Cropper throwing hard out there, Dunny.
He's throwing hard, and I think the danger, if you're a person like Cropper, is pitch count. If you can keep that pitch count low for the first 4 or 5 innings and set yourself up for a chance to win, I think that's the ideal scenario.
He has excellent form out there for a younger pitcher. Look how well he drives, from his waist on down. He's a very, very powerful pitcher.
And I think that's a credit to the coaching staff.
So Michael Randall is hit 3-1, and he takes that one in the dirt, so he's aboard. So the White Sox got their leadoff hitter on in the bottom of the 2nd.
And I believe this is their first base runner, so let's see if they can make something happen here.
And this brings up the defensive star of game number 2 for the White Sox, left fielder Micah Trouba. He stands in against Jack Cropper, takes that one low. Another hallmark of good Babe Ruth baseball, Dunny, is these are disciplined hitters. You don't see anybody swinging at bad pitches.
Absolutely. They have a good eye on the strike zone, and especially with good fast pitchers, they want to make you work. So they're not gonna give you easy bait on those low balls.
And that's Micah Trouba, the left fielder, swung through that fastball. So the count is 1-1. Michael Randall down at first. And he catches the piece of the outside corner against Micah Trouba, so he's down 1-2. Jack Cropper wants to work fast out there, and he's working fast tonight. He comes to the set and delivers. It's one on the ground out to short. No play at second base, so they do the right thing, and they get the out at first. So Micah Trouba is retired.
And I think the thing you have to keep in mind, too, is that this is a long stretch, especially from third to first, short to first. I know Red Sox players, and you see it on TV, they make it look easy, but for these young kids, that is a hard throw to make, and they're making great contact.
Absolutely. When you figure, this is the first year on the 90-foot diamond for these 13s, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
They do a great job.
It's a much bigger playing field, transitioning from the Kellys and Walls of the world to a place like this in the ball.
So this is Simon Jawhar, his first at bat. He swings through that one from Jack Cropper. Simon Jawhar also had an excellent game, too, for the White Sox. Had some big plays defensively in center field, and he has a cannon for an arm. He takes that one low. So that's Michael Randall out at second base. The A's are holding him on. Doing a good job of switching off in the middle. That one is low. And that's number 10, Sean Didmeyer, behind the plate tonight for the A's. Did an excellent job defensively in Game 2 for the A's.
Hey, Simon. Hey, Jarvis.
That one's lifted foul. And again, you know, this is good Babe Ruth baseball. When it's been in the zone, Denny, they're swinging at it. They're making contact.
They're making contact. They're forcing the extensions of the at bats. This is big for the White Sox right now.
Good way to run up the pitch count on a good pitcher, right?
Absolutely. If anything is questionable, just get contact on it. If it's in play, run it out. If it's not, it's foul, and you at least get the extension.
Hey, Simon.
That one is lifted foul. Should be playable. And that was a hard swallow. One thing about the Willet, I know from playing here and coaching here, is you get to treetop level, that wind really swirls like it's doing right now.
Oh yeah. There's sort of a uniqueness to every field you play on, and the wind here at the Willet definitely can carry if you get a hold of it.
So Jack Cropper is able to retire Simon Jahar on strikes. That's the second out of the inning.
That's a great battle right there. Good at bat, making contact, making the pitcher work, and at least on that exchange, he was the better man.
Absolutely. So this brings up Ethan Brownbill. His first at bat tonight, and he has a good cut at that fastball from Cropper. So he's down 0-1. Again, Michael Randall out at second base for the White Sox.
Hey, Brownie. Here we go.
That one's foul on the ground.
Hey, straighten out. Someone go get it. Quicker, Jarvis. Someone go. See it off the bat.
0-2 is the count to Ethan Brownbill. He faces Jack Cropper.
Hey, Brownie. Hey, Sticks.
And that's a big strikeout with a run out at second base for Jack Cropper, Denny.
Absolutely. He's going to work here. That's a good battle back by Jack Cropper. He found himself in some precarious situations there in the second, but he was able to battle back and keep it scoreless for the White Sox.
All right, we played 2 here at the Willet, and we'll be right back. All right, and we're back, everyone, in Game 3, top of the third action. This is Sean Didmeyer. He's the first up to bat for the A's in the top of the third, and he takes a ball from Joe Petrozelli. A's currently leading 3-0 here in game number 3, the rubber game of this 3-game series. That one is outside, so Sean Didmeyer is ahead in the count 2-0. We're so close here, Denny, we can get the sounds of the games, right? We can hear the first base coach.
Oh yeah, it's great. We have the White Sox bench to our left side, and we have fans to the right, people out in the field. You'll be amazed what these microphones can pick up. It's awesome.
So Sean Didmeyer with a hard ball on the ground, picked up out of short by Justin Skehill. Long throw, and Sean Didmeyer is going to leg out 2. He goes into second base, standing up. So the A's have their leadoff hitter aboard. He's at second base.
And that's a good turn there by Sean Didmeyer, because if you're running hard to first, and sometimes you kind of peel out just because of the way you're running so fast, but he gave himself an opportunity to extend that and go to second off the pass ball.
Yes, he did. Very alert base running. And this brings up a very dangerous hitter for the A's, Zach Agonis. Little nubber back to the mound, and he's retired 1-3. But he does his job. He gets Sean Didmeyer over to third base with 1 out. So Zach Agonis is retired 1-3. This will bring up Timmy Grenham. He went down on strikes back in the first inning, his second at bat against Joe Petrozelli. That's Sean Dittmeyer out at third.
It's like they're calling time here. There's a little confusion on the base paths.
So here's Timmy Grenham facing Joe Petrozelli for the second time. And he takes that pitch on the outside corner. So Joe Petrozelli is ahead 0-1 to Timmy Grenham. Throws down to third. That was pretty close.
Dangerous. I think they realized the second he popped up that he may have been a little too far. So
That's where you have to be careful.
yeah,
As White Sox are a disciplined team. They're watching everything. Again, a good stop again by James Gamble.
now these are the sort of undervalued. I shouldn't say undervalued, but plays that might go under the radar for casual fans. So that's huge because that's a run stopper right there.
Yeah, and he's had a great series, James Gamble has. Very, very solid back there. Timmy Grenham takes that one inside.
And it's good for a pitcher too if you have confidence in a catcher that he can stop balls. You can get a little more aggressive in the strike zone where you want to get those balls in.
So Timmy Grenham, again, that disciplined Dunny, he draws a walk, so it's first and third for the A's with 1 out. They're currently ahead 3-0.
So they're going to call time here.
Coach Lighty was telling me in my pregame interview that he does have Miles Kidd is available in the bullpen. It looks like he may be going to him here.
Yep, he's making the call. So they'll just switch spots. Miles is at second, so they'll have him go to second. Miles will take the mound.
Joe Petrozelli did a good job. So he had through 2 1/3. He had 1 strikeout. Most of the balls were on the ground, so he really did his job. This is a really hard time of year for all players because, there are a lot of innings on every single arm. Every single arm is tender. This is when sometimes it's okay to pitch by committee, right?
Yeah, and you got to be. There's also a strategy when bringing in different pitchers. You want to have an ace that can go long, but at the same time, there's got to be some sort of recognition where, if he starts to struggle, or if there's something, there's a better reliever. Don't be afraid to use him. That's kind of the mechanics of baseball. It's because knowing when, and that's a credit to the coach staff too. Knowing when your pitchers are tired, knowing when your pitchers need a rest or need a break, and good on Lighty to make that call.
Yeah, absolutely. Doing what you need to, right? And that's one of the challenges of Babe Ruth baseball is, giving all players the opportunity, but you want to make sure that no arm is overworked, right? And that's a lot harder than it seems at first glance.
Well, it's a long season too. I mean, if this were game 1, this may be played differently because they want to, conserve their pitchers or get something ready for the next game. Like there's a lot of planning ahead in Babe Ruth baseball.
That there is. So this is Ryan Keneally, and he faces Miles Kidd. First batter for Miles Kidd. He kicks, and he gets that strike in there. So Timmy Grenham heads down to second base. Doesn't draw a throw. 1 out here for the A's. Ryan Keneally at bat, facing Miles Kidd. He swings to that fastball. So Ryan Keneally is down 0-2. Miles Kidd doing a good job of throwing strikes. He wants to work fast. He's at the set and delivers. And that's foul, and it's going to stay foul.
Good recognition by Kidd, though. He was quick to that ball.
I remember doing for NPA TV at the time, Dunny, I actually did a game that Miles Kidd pitched, and he has one of the best straight changes I have ever seen. Disguises it really well. He is cagey out there. That's a hard liner to Joe Petrozelli, who over to Justin Skehill, and they double off Timmy Grenham to end the inning, and the threat is over for the A's on the top of the third. We also want to give a shout out to the coaches who work hard all year with these players, and you can see getting them ready to play baseball at a really high level like you're seeing tonight with Joe Petrozelli over to Justin Skehill there to end the inning. Want to give a shout out to Coach Lighty of the White Sox and his assistants, Mikey Dolliner and Pat Kavanaugh. And of course, the head coach for the A's is Mr. Hawley, George Hawley, and his two assistants, Steve Grenham and Beaver Barrett. Congratulations to the coaching staffs, and congrats on a great season. And we'll be right back.
Back 3-2.
All right, everyone, and we're back. We're ready for bottom of the third inning action. You're watching Game 3 of the 2019 Babe Ruth Championship Series from the Willett. June 27, 2019, Mike Crowley along with Brian Dunn. And you're watching Jack Cropper starting off his third inning of work. And Joe Petrozelli is the leadoff hitter for the White Sox, and he takes a ball. The line on Jack Cropper: through 2 innings, he's faced 7 batters. He has 3 strikeouts. He has been impressive, Dunny.
Absolutely, and I think the biggest standout in that stat line is 0 earned runs, so that keeps the A's on top.
So he faces Joe Petrozelli, who just had that excellent heads-up play at second base, and doubled off Timmy Grenham at second base. That was a hard liner to Joe Petrozelli. Over to Justin Skihill. So we got a battle going here. Joe Petrozelli against Jack Cropper. He swings through that one. It's going to be interesting, Denny, to see if now that we're to the third inning, if we see Jack Cropper using more of his break and stuff.
Absolutely. You got to think that, a lot of the reason why pitchers switch from fastball to changeup, yes, they're trying to get the batter off guard, but they're trying to conserve their own energy as well. If you're throwing fastball after fastball for 40 straight pitches, you're going 2.5 innings instead of 5.
So this brings up number 5, Jordan Woodley, his first at bat, and he takes a strike. So he's down 0-1 to Jack Cropper. And he lifts a foul over on the left-hand side, so he'll be down 0-2. Jack Cropper will be an NHS freshman next year. I'm sure he's going to make his mark at the school on the hill.
And I think that's one of the biggest things to take away from this league is that this is sort of the future of Norwood High baseball right here. You see it on both sides. A lot of these kids are freshmen already, but there's a very good development program for kids that want to get to that next level and play on the varsity team.
Yes, and we do want to give an extra special shout out to Coach Leidy and also to Coach Hawley. These players are so well prepared. In game number 2, Dunny, there was an overthrow at first base, something you never see this at the pro level anymore because you don't see a lot of old school baseball anymore. But we actually had the catcher backed up a throw from the infield at first base. It would have been an overthrow otherwise, but he was there to catch it, so it didn't give the run on the second base.
And that's kind of the team first mentality, right? Is that everything is for the team. I mean, not to knock a lot of players in the pros because they deserve to be there, but at the same time, they have their own individual agendas, and especially with designated hitters, I believe this league doesn't have a DH. A lot of the reason why these teams have success in Babe Ruth is that team mentality and just knowing where your spots are at certain points in the game, and that's a great job, especially in game 2, to be aware of that kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree. That's one of the hallmarks of great coaching is do your players know where they need to be in every situation, and that certainly is the case here in Norwood Babe Ruth. So we played 3 innings here in Game 3 of the 2019 Babe Ruth Championship Game number 3, and the score is A's 3, White Sox 0, and we'll be right back.
Do you want to stay up to date with Norwood Community Media? Then subscribe to our weekly NCM newsletter. Every Friday, our promotions department publishes an online newsletter that highlights the work of NCM and the latest happenings. It includes the full episode of Norwood News, recent clips from NCM programs, behind-the-scenes photos, and so much more. NCM works hard to deliver a steady stream of Norwood content, and this newsletter is another way to stay connected to Norwood. To receive the newsletter, just visit www.norwoodcommunitymedia.org. Scroll to the bottom of the page, click the Sign Up for our newsletter button, and enter some basic information. You'll then be added to our newsletter mailing list. It's all here on Norwood Community Media, your home for all things Norwood.
Alrighty, everyone, and we're back for top of the fourth action. Again, this is the Babe Ruth 2019 Championship Series, game number 3. And this is the top of the fourth action. So Sean Collins will lead it off for the A's. He faces Miles Kidd. He takes that pitch just a little bit high. So he's ahead 1-0. Miles Kidd entered the game on the mound last inning and was able to get the White Sox out of trouble. He benefited from a big double play that was initiated by Joe Petrozelli, so he starts his first full inning of work.
Yeah, you see the White Sox are sort of settling into this game here. They had a couple the A's had a couple opportunities to extend their lead, but the White Sox have been very good defensively the past second and third to keep them at the score they're at.
Miles Kidd doing a good job of being around that strike zone. A nice overhand delivery, nice and easy. See him using the breaking pitch there, but Sean Collins not biting on that one. Just a little bit of wind from left to right here at the Willett tonight.
Hey, how'd I hang?
Sean Collins spoils that one.
It's good. It's just enough to kind of cool you off a little bit. It's a hot day. I mean, midday was like 92. I think it topped it. So this is it's a nice breeze for the players and for us too.
Absolutely. So Miles Kidd. That one's on the ground. It's picked up. And Sean Collins with some good hustle is going to be safe at first base. So the A's have their leadoff batter aboard. And this is a pinch hitter. This is Jacob Sheehan. He's wearing number 3 tonight for the Athletics. He's batting for Axel Ekberg. Miles Kidd delivers, and that one's a little low. So again, this is Jacob Sheehan, and he's pinch hitting for Axel Ekberg here on the top of the fourth. With a runner at first, that's Sean Collins down at first. Miles Kidd delivers, that one's low. Good pickup by James Gamble. And that one is up high. So 3-0 is the count to Jacob Sheehan. This is his first at bat here in the fourth inning. With Sean Collins down at first. That one is high. So Jacob Sheehan does a good job drawing the walk. And again, that discipline in these hitters, once again, Denny.
Absolutely. I mean, if it's not your pick, it's not your pick, and you got to make that pitcher work and get it down in the strike zone. So good job by Jacob Sheehan to draw that walk.
So this will bring up number 1, Paul Sheehan.
No, off the bat.
So 2 runners aboard for the A's. And that bat stays out over the plate, so that's a strike.
So Miles looked back at the second base runner there. They're getting a lead. They're forcing the second baseman to come over. So it's interesting to see what they do here.
Oh, and a beautiful play. The ball was there before. That was a beautiful, beautiful pickoff move by Miles Kidd. The ball actually beat the runner back. He was very fortunate to be safe at second base. That was a beautiful move by a Babe Ruth player.
And all of a sudden that lead gets a little shorter, right? So I think Miles did his job of kind of keeping that base runner honest.
And Paul Sheehan follows that bunt back, so he'll be swinging away now with 2 strikes. See the White Sox holding him on down at second base. Miles Kidd, he has a little bit of Louis Tiante, a little El Tiante there movement in his delivery.
Oh,
He's
sure.
very good at freezing those runners.
I like that comparison.
Now he comes to the set, kicks and delivers. And he picks up a big strikeout.
Yep.
Big strikeout for Miles Kidd. That's the first out.
Maddie, Randall, be ready. Let's go. Maddie, coming to you.
This brings up top of the order. This is George Tolman. He scored the first A's run back in the first, and he grounded out to second base in the second. So this is his third at bat. He faces Miles Kidd.
So now this is a different setup for the White Sox offensively. It looks like shortstop's gonna play a little closer to second. That way they have the pull play if they need it.
And as a coach, as a former coach, Denny, I just love seeing these hitters be aggressive early in the count, like you see here with George Tolman.
Absolutely. Get on make the picture work. Don't give them any freebies.
That is good baseball. So George Tolman stands in against Miles Kidd. 1-1 is the count. Takes that one low. The runners are going to move up a base. And Miles is going to have to be careful here. George Tolman, very good contact hitter.
So one out, right?
Correct.
I wonder if they make the call to see if they can squeeze this runner home on a bunt.
Yeah, both these teams, they can play big ball, they can play small ball. They're very, very good. This is a dangerous count. And he launches that into the gap in right center. Oh, but George Jawha's head to the wall. George Tolman standing up at second base. He goes in standing up.
Base is clear on that one.
And that so that drives in Sean Collins. So that's the fourth A's run. That ball was tagged by George Tolman, Dunning.
Perfect contact. Can't ask for a better swing than that one. Just puts it right in the center field gap, and he did exactly what he needed to do. Got the runners home.
And this is Jack Cropper. So he popped out to short in the first inning, and he popped out to first base. And again, Miles Kidd is cagey out there, using the head to try and get those runners to take off down the line. So this is Jack Cropper. He's officially 0 for 2 on the day, but he bats now with 2 runners on the bases. So Jack Cropper will be retired, but he drives in another run. That's on Jacob Sheehan, who comes around to score for the A's, and that's their 5th run.
And again, it doesn't go down in the books as a hit, but he did exactly what he needed to do. He puts the ball in play just far enough so that third base runner can get the 90-foot sprint he can home, and another run comes in.
So George Tolman goes down to third. Sean Dittmeyer is up
he
now,
balked.
and that was a balk because there was no runner at first. So in comes George Tolman with the 6th run for the A's.
That's tough. It goes down as a balk, but it's definitely not what he intended. He thought there was a runner, I believe, at first or second, but it's just one of those tough plays where the rules can kind of bite you.
So this is Sean Dittmeyer. He takes a strike. Sean Dittmeyer singled to left field in the first and came around to score. He was stranded in the third inning. He was stranded at third base. So he's down 0-2 to Miles Kidd.
Hey, works the outside, hit it to the right. Come on.
And 1-2 is the count to the A's catcher.
Works you out there, hit it that way. 1-2.
That's a ball out to short. So Sean Dittmeyer is going to reach with an infield hit. So this will bring up Zach Agonis. And again, he had a double in the first inning, and he grounded back to the pitcher in the third. So this is his third at bat. And he takes that one on the inside corner. So Miles Kidd is up 0-1 to Zach Agonis. Again, another ace hitter they're going to have to be very careful with. A lot of power. And Miles Kidd, there was the changeup that I was talking about. Danny.
That
Beautiful
was
movement
perfect.
on that.
You couldn't ask for a better picture than that. That was a good one to watch.
Beautiful straight down movement. That's lifted to left field. Should be playable for Mike Katruba. And he hauls that one in to end the inning. But not before the A's get another 3. So they're currently up 6-0 over the White Sox. So we've played 3.5 here from the Willett. Mike Crowley along with Brian Dunn, and we'll be right back.
Okay, when you are.
All right, and we're back, everyone, and you're watching bottom of the 4th action. This is Game 3 of the 2019 Babe Ruth Championship Series from the Willett. June 27, 2019. Mike Crowley along with Brian Dunn. The line on Jack Cropper, and Miles Kidd lifts one to right field. And that is fair ball just inside the line, but a good pickup out there in right field. So Miles Kidd is limited to a single. Good job of Miles putting the bat on Jack Cropper there, Danny.
So here's the thing, right? The A's have a pretty good lead going into the 4th, but the White Sox, if you remember from Game 2, they didn't get their scoring started till the end of the game. So this is where they could really take advantage of maybe, pitchers with high pitch counts, maybe tired defensemen out there. So the White Sox are certainly not out of this fight.
Yeah, they will battle you all the way to the end. This is a great matchup here. This is Jack Cropper on the hill against Justin Skihill. Justin Skihill lifts a little infield pop, and that's gathered in out at shortstop, so he's retired. So Miles Kidd will remain down at first base. And again, Jack Cropper won that battle against Justin Skihill. This will bring up Michael Randall. This is his second time up. He walked and was stranded out at second back in the 2nd inning. So this is his second at bat. He takes that one inside. Again, Jack Cropper facing Michael Randall. Michael Randall bats in the 4-hole for the White Sox. Takes that one low. Miles Kidd with a 2-step lead off of first. And that one is going to find some backstop, so Miles Kidd heads down to second. So 3-0 is the count to Michael Randall. Miles Kidd out at second. They're holding him at second base. Let's see if Michael Randall has the take here. 3-0. And he does, and he draws the walk.
So again, just like I said, two good at bats to start it. No outs. They got runners. They got at least one runner in scoring position. They could do some work here.
So this brings up Mike Katruber. He bats number 5 for the White Sox. He grounded out to shortstop back in the 2nd inning. This is his second at bat. That's one of the things that I just love to see about Norwood baseball, Dunny, is all these pitchers know what to do. They know all the pickoff moves. They're not afraid to do it. It's just, it's really impressive.
Absolutely. It just shows kind of the discipline. A lot of pitchers sometimes just get into a groove where it's like catch, throw, catch, throw, catch, throw. But, you got base runners on and trying to threaten, and it's tough to kind of balance both, but they do a very good job at it.
So Jack Cropper rearing back. He is throwing hard here in the 4th. He has Mike Katruba down 0-2. He wants to work fast, and he does.
It's a great 1-2-3.
So 2 outs now in the White Sox Fourth inning, this brings up Simon Jaha, the center fielder. He went down on strikes back in the second inning, so this is his second at bat. He faces Jack Cropper. Love to see those hitters being aggressive early in the count. Fouls that one back, 0-1. Miles Kidd out at second. Michael Randall at first.
Here we go, Simon.
That one is low. So all runners are going to move up a base. Nice opportunity here, Dunny, for Simon Jaha. Could bring in two of the single.
Absolutely. Just put it in play, see what happens. These White Sox know they have to be aggressive on the base paths, and they have nothing going so far, so it's a great opportunity here.
Here we go, Simon.
Jack Cropper to set and delivers. That one's lifted foul. It should be playable.
That's tough. I mean, the sun is in a very bad spot for that kind of play. It's tough for me because looking at the camera, I can't imagine what the catcher's looking at dead in the sky.
Yeah, once that got about to a height of about 10 feet, I could not follow that one at all. So Simon Jaha remains at bat, facing Jack Cropper with two aboard. And the break-in pitch, they should get a run in, and they're not going to send
Oh,
it.
they keep him. So I think the 2-2 count. So he must have thought that was the third strike, which whether he went or didn't go wouldn't have mattered, right? Because
Right, exactly.
okay, so it gets a little miscommunication.
So the count is 2-2 to Simon Jaha, White Sox center fielder.
Simon.
So now there's a little controversy on the base paths. They're saying he stepped out of the base path, and
Hey, Simon, here we go.
And there's a little one-hopper back to Jack Cropper, and he retires Simon Jaha. So nothing across for the White Sox in the fourth. They had runners as far as second and third, but they cannot get the runners across. So we played 4 innings here at the Willett. You're watching Game 3 of the 2019 Babe Ruth Championship Series. And through 4 innings, the score is A's 6, White Sox nothing, and we'll be right back.
Do you want to stay up to date with Norwood Community Media? Then subscribe to our weekly NCM newsletter. Every Friday, our promotions department publishes an online newsletter that highlights the work of NCM and the latest happenings. It includes the full episode of Norwood News, recent clips from NCM programs, behind-the-scenes photos, and so much more. NCM works hard to deliver a steady stream of Norwood content, and this newsletter is another way to stay connected to Norwood. To receive the newsletter, just visit www.norwoodcommunitymedia.org. Scroll to the bottom of the page, click the Sign Up for Our Newsletter button, and enter some basic information. You'll then be added to our newsletter mailing list. It's all here on Norwood Community Media, your home for all things Norwood.
All right, and we're back, and you're watching top of the fifth inning action. This is Timmy Grenham leading off for the A's in the top of the fifth, and he takes a strike from Miles Kidd. Timmy Grenham went down on strikes back on the first, and he walked back on the third, so this is his second at bat, first time against Miles Kidd. And he hits a little ground ball out to short. Justin Skihill up with it, throw across the diamond. And it looks like it pulled his foot off.
Yeah, it's tough.
So that was a tough play. So Timmy Grenham reaches with an infield hit. He's aboard. And that is actually the 1, 2, 3. That is the 5th inning in a row that the leadoff hitter has reached. The leadoff runner has reached for the A's. So they've done a good job in that department tonight, Dunny.
That's a great eye on you, Mr. Crowley.
So this is Ryan Keneally. He tries to get it down. The throw is down to first. And it was just a little off the bag. Good throw down at first by James Gamble. Good heads up by the White Sox defense. So Ryan Keneally, see if he tries to get it down again with one strike. Swinging away, little grounder, gets through on the right-hand side. Timmy Grenham is going to have to stop at second base. So Ryan Keneally is on with a single, moves over Timmy Grenham. So the A's have something going with two aboard here in the fifth.
So if I'm not mistaken, I believe both of these teams only got a handful of losses all year, correct?
That is correct. Yeah, and the season actually came down to the last weekend where they played each other twice. And I believe the White Sox won both of those games, but they were very close games. They were one-run games, each one. One of them was actually a 1-0.
So both of these teams know each other fairly well.
Yes, yep, well coached. So this is Sean Collins. He singled back in the second, and he came around to score in the fourth for the A's. So his third time up on the night. Takes a ball from Miles Kidd. He has two runners on base. He has Timmy Grenham out at second base. Ryan Keneally down at first. Miles Kidd to the set, and he delivers. He swings through that one.
I think that's that changeup that we have been talking about.
When your delivery is the same on every single pitch, that really makes life hard for the hitter. That's good baseball. Little looper, just foul down the first base line. So Sean Collins having a good battle against Miles Kidd. Miles Kidd has done a good job of throwing a lot of strikes here in relief of Joe Petrozelli. That's a hard ball down the short. Justin Skehill steps on second base, throws to first to complete the double play. Nice play there by number 7.
Yeah, great play.
Natural over there.
Nice and easy for that shortstop that can tap that second base and make that strong throw over to first, plant his feet.
So this will bring up, and this should be Axel Ekberg. Just want to verify a number when he turns around. So this is actually still Jacob Sheehan. So he is in the game for Axel Ekberg. He bats here with 2 outs. That's Timmy Grenham down at third for the A's. So again, this is number 3, Jacob Sheehan, his second at bat. He walked and came around to score in the 4th inning. He bats here in the 5th inning for the A's. He takes that strike.
So an opportunity here to get that third base runner home. See if they can get a little more comfortable with their lead.
Jacob, base hit, swing, come on. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
So 2-2 is the count to Jacob Sheehan.
Don't try to kill a base hit here.
Oh.
So on the loose ball over third base, Timmy Grenham stays home at third base. So the count will remain at 2-2 to Jacob Sheehan.
Come on, Jake.
He bats here in the 5th for the A's. They're currently up 6-0. Just a little outside, so the count is full. Miles Kidd to the set, and he delivers. And he gets Jacob Sheehan for the 3rd out. So we've played 4.5 here in Game 3 of the 2019 Babe Ruth Championship Series with the score A's 6, White Sox 0, and we'll be right back.
Stop by the Norwood Morrill Memorial Library and check out magazines, newspapers, DVDs, and of course, books. The library also offers a variety of services, including passport renewal, a notary, and tutoring, with multiple different meeting rooms which can be booked for your convenience. Take advantage of online digital resources and get assistance with all of your research needs. Kids can enjoy the children's room stocked with books and toys. There are also a variety of programs for children and adults. And if you can't make it into the library can come to you with home delivery. The library is open Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., and on Fridays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. To learn more, go to www.norwoodlibrary.org.
All right, everyone, and we're back. You're watching Game 3 of the 2019 Babe Ruth Championship Series. Mike Crowley along with Brian Dunn. The A's are currently up 6-0, and the White Sox set to bat here in the home half of the fifth. This will be Ethan Brownbill. He's officially over 1 on the day. He went down on strikes back in the second. He faces Jack Cropper for the second time. And he fouls that one back to the screen. The line on Jack Cropper through 4 innings, 5 Ks, 1 base on balls. So he's been very efficient out there, Danny.
Yeah, I mean, you can't ask for a better stat line than that. And like I said in a couple innings earlier, it's still 0 earned runs. So that's kind of the big kicker, especially in a game like this.
Again, this is high quality Babe Ruth baseball. You see pitchers getting ahead in the count, always around the strike zone. You know, that was a great example right there. He gets ahead 0-1, 0-2. Finishes him off with the high cheese. And nicely done by Jack Cropper.
Yeah, 3 pitches, and that works in favor in his pitch count.
So we're going to have a pinch hitter here.
Hey, Matty. Dick, Matty.
To be, and that's number. So this is, I believe that's number 4. So that was Matt Beggin. The number 4 is Matt Beggin for the White Sox. He's retired 6-3. This will bring up number 4, Jordan Woodley, and we're going to have a pinch hitter here.
Here we go, Hatchie.
So this is number 3, Dan Hatchie, another pinch hitter. He bats for Jordan Woodley here in the 5th. And quickly, Jack Cropper is ahead 0-2. So Dan Hatchie stays alive. He wears number 3 for the White Sox. He stays alive against Jack Cropper. And he does a good job of battling there, Dunny.
Yeah, this is something you need here because Cropper was making quick work of those first 2 outs. I think maybe like four pitches total in the first 2 outs. So he's trying to drive it up while he can.
And this is exactly what Coach Hawley does not want to see in the 5th inning.
Right.
You know, one of these at bats that just drives up the pitch count, as you said, on his ace.
Yeah. The White Sox are still within striking distance.
So he may reach on a drop third, and he does. So number 3, Dan Hatchie, with good hustle, reaches on a drop third strike, so he's aboard.
Yeah, and that's good discipline. Don't give up on the play, and run until you reach that base.
Again, good discipline, as you said, good discipline baseball. Dan Hatchie knew exactly what to do in that situation. Now this brings up the top of the order for the White Sox. This is James Gamble.
So prime position to see if they can get something going.
So James Gamble officially 0-2 on the day. He went down on strikes in the first. He grounded out to short back in the third. He bats for the 3rd time against Jack Cropper here in the 5th inning. Jack Cropper delivers. James Gamble swings through that fastball. So 1-2 is the count to James Gamble. White Sox catcher, he's had a great series.
Hey, Gil.
And he just spoils that one back to the screen. So top of the order for the White Sox here in the 5th inning.
1-2, right. Hey, Gamble.
Hatchie takes off.
Whoa!
And the throw is high, so he's going to be okay. The count is going to go to 2-2 to James Gamble.
Good throw, though. I'll give him that.
Hey, Hatch, shoot out. Good jumps out there. Good secondary.
So number 3, Dan Hatchie, is down at second base for the White Sox with 2 outs. That one is skied into the parking lot. Let's see if we have the breaking one here, Denny. 2-2 is the count.
Hey, Gamble. Here we go, 8.
Trying to work it outside. James Gamble, a disciplined hitter, not chasing that.
Hey, Gamble, get on.
Oof.
Jack Cropper,
That's a
Picks
great
up.
inside pitch, yeah.
big strikeout. Big strikeout. So nothing across for the White Sox in the home half of the 5th. So we've played 5 here in Game 3 of the 2019 Babe Ruth Championship Series with the score A's 6, White Sox nothing, and we'll be right back. Right, and we're back for top of the 6th inning action. You're watching Game 3 of the 2019 Babe Ruth Championship Series from the Willett on June 27, 2019. Mike Crowley along with Brian Dunn. And it's been a dandy so far in favor of the A's, Dunny.
Yeah, I mean, good baseball playing from both sides, offensively and defensively, but the A's, they jumped out to that quick lead in the early innings, and they've been able to protect it thus far.
And this is number 1, Paul Sheehan, is at bat for the 3rd time today. He reached back in the 2nd inning and was stranded at second base. He went down on strikes in the 4th inning, so he bats for the 3rd time. And he faces Miles Kidd. And he takes a strike.
Pick a spot, you hit it.
Miles Kidd has done a great job in relief of Joe Petrozelli. He's really pretty much shut the door, done he?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what you really want in a relief pitcher in a situation like that where he comes in mid-game. He's been very, very strong in the strike zone. He's been given his defense behind him good plays to make plays on.
And he delivers. And that one is fouled back by Paul Sheehan. Again, beautiful night for baseball from the Willett.
Go, White Sox.
According to my weather calculations, it's 86 degrees.
Beautiful night. Beautiful night. So Paul Sheehan is aboard. That is the 6th consecutive inning that the leadoff hitter has reached for the A's. That's pretty impressive.
82 degrees, but same deal. Beautiful sunny afternoon, evening.
So this brings up George Tolman, who's had a great night for the A's. He lifts one to center. Simon Jahar is in. He's camped under that one, and he hauls it in. So George Tolman is retired, but he's had a great night. George Tolman has that was his 4th at bat. He's officially 2 for 4, including that at bat, and he has scored 2 runs for the A's.
The big hit for George was that 2 RBI double that really gave the A's that big push. I believe it was the 3rd inning that happened.
Yes. Yep, that was a nice piece of hitting. He's had a great season and a great series. So Paul Sheehan is back at first base, 1 out. So this is Jack Cropper, the pitcher, with an opportunity to help himself some more. He faces Miles Kidd in the 6th inning. And he launches one that's high and deep to left field. Micah Truber is back, but he hauls it in just a little bit in front of the scoreboard. So Jack Cropper flies out to left field. That's the 2nd out. This will bring up number 10, Sean Dittmeyer. John Didmeyer scored the second run on the night for the A's. He had a single in the first, came around to score. Then he was stranded at third base in the third inning, and he reached on an infield error in the fourth. So this is his fourth at bat. And Paul Sheehan steals second base for the A's. And he did a nice job. Got an excellent jump on that, and it was a strong throw as well. So a nice job by number 1, Paul Sheehan. John Didmeyer follows that one back.
And you notice when Miles pitches when there's a runner on second or third, he doesn't turn his head until the last second. So he's given the runner, you know, every indication he can that he's not intimidated by it.
Yeah, he is in charge out there for sure. He's a very smart pitcher. So that's a ball to Sean Didmeyer. And I mean, you know, Dunny, those finer points of the game, that's what should be happening as they get older. And he picks up a big strike out there to the number 3 hitter. So Miles Kidd strikes out Sean Didmeyer to end the A's 6th. And again, we played 5.5 here at the Willett with the score A's 6, White Sox nothing. And we'll be right back.
Do you want to stay up to date with Norwood Community Media? Then subscribe to our weekly NCM newsletter. Every Friday, our promotions department publishes an online newsletter that highlights the work of NCM and the latest happenings. It includes the full episode of Norwood News, recent clips from NCM programs, behind-the-scenes photos, and so much more. NCM works hard to deliver a steady stream of Norwood content, and this newsletter is another way to stay connected to Norwood. To receive the newsletter, just visit www.norwoodcommunitymedia.org. Scroll to the bottom of the page, click the Sign Up for Our Newsletter button, and enter some basic information. You'll then be added to our newsletter mailing list. It's all here on Norwood Community Media, your home for all things Norwood.
All right, and we're back, everyone, and you're watching Game 3 action. This is the bottom of the 6th. It's the A's versus the White Sox. This is Game 3 of the 2019 Babe Ruth Championship Series. This is the rubber game, and the A's are currently leading 6-0. The leadoff batter in the bottom of the 6th for the White Sox will be Miles Kidd, the pitcher. He faces Jack Cropper, who gets ahead 0-1. Miles Kidd has had a great series at the bat. You saw what he did in game number 2. He's on the hill tonight, throwing a lot of strikes. He's a gamer, Dunny.
Absolutely. I mean, Miles is one of those kids that he's everywhere on the field.
Get there, Miles.
And that's number 6, George Tolman, out at shortstop. They moved him over for tonight. And did a nice play of retiring Miles Kidd. So he's retired 6-3. This will bring up Justin Skihill. He's officially 0-2 on the night. Grounded out to short in the first. He popped out to short back in the 4th. So this is only his 3rd at bat in the 6th inning. That tells you how effective Jack Cropper has been, Dunny.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to efficiency and picking the right pitches, it's been almost a perfect game for him, other than, you know, the fact that he has a couple hits on his belt, but Cropper's been unbelievable.
And he is still throwing hard here in the 6th inning.
Here we go, 7.
And he kind of left that hanging pitch up there. You could see Jack Cropper's reaction was he'd like to have that one back.
Yeah.
Nice piece of hitting by Justin Skihill. So he's aboard. He is the first White Sox runner here in the bottom of the 6th.
So this inning could really determine what they do with Cropper going into the 7th, just because you want to commend the effort of Cropper, maybe throw him out for the 7th and try and get that complete game. But at the same time, if the White Sox threaten here, maybe run that pitch count up. It's a tough decision.
It is, and you know the coach is doing a good job of knowing which arms are tender at this time of year. They always do a good job of having their antenna up about that. So So that one makes its way to the backstop.
If I were to make an educated guess, since they do have a pretty comfortable lead, if they start developing some runs here, they may have to pull them. But I think they've done a good job of gauging. Okay, he may be in trouble now, but let's see if he can battle back.
And this is a pinch hitter. This is number 2, Dylan Barron, and he lifts one into center field. That one is going to be caught out there. That's Zach Agonis in center field. But a nice piece of hitting by number 2, Dylan Barron. That was his first at bat. So there are 2 out in the White Sox 6th. This brings up the left fielder and the defensive star from game number 2, Mike Atruba. It's officially 0 for 2 on the night. He grounded out to short in the 2nd. He went down on strikes in the 4th, so this is his 3rd at bat. He takes strike 1. With Justin Skehill out at second base. There's a bounding ball out to second. It's picked up. And Mike Atruba is retired, and so are the White Sox. So we have played 6 here at the Willett in Game 3 of the 2019 Babe Ruth Championship Series. And your score stands at A's 6, White Sox nothing, and we'll be right back. All right, everyone, we're back, and you're watching top of the 7th action. This is Game 3 of the 2019 Babe Ruth Championship Series from the Willett, June 27, 2019. Mike Crowley along with Brian Dunn. And we're set with the first pitch action here, top of the 7th. That's to Zach Agonis, who's had a great series for the A's. The A's are currently up 6-0. Miles Kidd has done a good job in relief for the White Sox. That's the second pitch to Zach Agonis, and the count goes to 1-1. Zach Agonis is officially 1 for 3 on the evening. He had a double back in the 1st. Then he bounced back to the pitcher, and he flied out to left field in the 4th. So officially 1 for 3, or 1 for 3 in total. And he hits a rope into right center field, so he's aboard. He has a beautiful swing, down here, doesn't he?
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those swings where if you make contact, the sound of the crack of the bat is something you really can't beat.
Yeah, he's a big, strong guy, too. He's going to be an exciting player to watch. So this brings up Timmy Grenham. And Timmy Grenham is officially 1 for 2 on the night. He grounds one to short. He finds the hole that was created when Justin Skehill moved over.
Yeah, talk about perfect placement of that hit.
So once again, the A's have something going. Timmy Grenham, nice piece of hitting, as you said. So the A's have something going. This is going to bring up Ryan Keneally. He bats with runners at the corners. That's going to be, that could be trouble. It's just deep enough, and it is.
They call a foul, though.
Yeah, it looks like maybe a foot or 2 over the line there.
So they get a good break there.
Joe Petrozelli doing a good job of trying to get to that one. The sun is right in the eyes of the right side of the infield and the right fielders. This is just a tough sun here at the Willett.
Yeah.
One strike, play. Stay down and hard.
So 0-1 is the count to Ryan Keneally. And Miles Kidd, very alert pitcher. Senses they're going to be sending him. Looking for the easy pickoff. But Timmy Grenham gets back. Miles Kidd comes to the set. And he delivers. That's lifted in the air to center. Simon Jahar is there. He reels that one in. Zach Agonis does not tag. So that's the first out for the A's.
So that's a big play too. Not only did he get the out at center, but he rips that ball right back to Miles and he prevents that tag out from third.
Yeah, I think they're a little wary about running on Simon Jahar. He showed off his arm in game 2. He has a cannon. Miles Kidd gets that one in there on the inside corner. So this is number 13, Sean Collins. And he's had a very good night. Takes that one up high. Sean Collins on the night singled to center field in the first. He got on and scored in the fourth. And he actually grounded to short in the 5th inning. So he's put the bat on 3 times tonight. Takes that one low. Coach Lady brings the infield in for the White Sox.
Yeah, they want to keep that runner at third honest if he tries to go.
This is Sean Collins, number 13. Beautiful breaking pitch from Miles Kidd.
Sean, head on it, base hit, swing. Come on.
Just when you think you're going to see the heater again, Dunny, he pulls the string
Oh,
out.
yeah.
That's
He's-
great baseball.
Yeah.
Sean Collins draws the walk. So the bases are full of A's.
Infield in, force it to play.
This should be Jacob Sheehan. He came in the 4th inning.
Infield in.
It's infield. The White Sox had the infield in, trying to cut down that run at the plate.
Jack.
Miles Kidd leaves that one a little high to Jacob Sheehan. This is actually, check that, it's Axel Ekberg is back in. He started the game for the A's.
No, come on. Hey, now you're ready. Good one.
Miles Kidd gets that one in there to Axel Ekberg. He bats here in the top of the 7th.
Base hit, swing right here.
He follows that one back. So the count is full to Axel Ekberg of the A's.
Base hit, contact somewhere now.
So that walks in. Zach Agonis with the 7th A's run. Bases are still loaded. So this brings up number 1, Paul Sheehan. He takes a ball inside.
Oh, you like it? Put it right over their head. All right.
He takes a strike, so the count goes to 1-1 to number 1, Paul Sheehan for the A's. He bats here on the top of the 7th. 1 run in for the A's. Follows that one straight back.
This is still double play territory for the White Sox, correct?
Yes,
One
it
out?
is. 1 out. Absolutely.
1 ball, 2 strikes, play. Contact somewhere, Paul. Up there, hit.
And that's an infield fly. It should be an out. And it is. Infield fly rule was called.
So you'll have to explain to me what the infield fly rule entails.
So the origin of the infield fly rule was they didn't want there to be a scenario where where a fielder would intentionally drop it, knowing that the runners aren't taking off, and then getting an easy double play.
Gotcha.
So that was the whole reason behind it, was to keep deception out of that situation. It's a very good rule because, in other words, the
You
whole
could drop it and then
yeah, exactly.
they try. They have no choice but to go.
Exactly. So if you were, if you were catching the pop right by second base, drop it, step on second, throw to first, you get a double play, right? So it's actually a very good rule.
Yeah.
So that was George Tolman. I think they were saying that got a piece of him. So that brings in the second run. So that scores Timmy Grenham with the 8th run for the A's. And that one is launched into right center. And a nice catch is made out there. Gonna get a number on that one, Denny. Some good defense. So the A's are retired, but they get their 7th and 8th runs in. I'm going to check a number on that. Nice catch right as he goes by. And that catch was made by number 2, Dom Kennedy, for the White Sox to retire the A's in the top of the 7th. So we will be right back, everyone.
Do you want to stay up to date with Norwood Community Media? Then subscribe to our weekly NCM newsletter. Every Friday, our promotions department publishes an online newsletter that highlights the work of NCM and the latest happenings. It includes the full episode of Norwood News, recent clips from NCM programs, behind-the-scenes photos, and so much more. NCM works hard to deliver a steady stream of Norwood content, and this newsletter is another way to stay connected to Norwood. To receive the newsletter, just visit www.norwoodcommunitymedia.org. Scroll to the bottom of the page, click the Sign Up for Our Newsletter button, and enter some basic information. You'll then be added to our newsletter mailing list. It's all here on Norwood Community Media, your home for all things Norwood.
Right, and we're back for bottom of the 7th action. This is Game 3 of the 2019 Babe Ruth Championship Series. So it's do or die for the White Sox here in the bottom of the 7th. They are the home team. So Simon Jawha will start things off for the White Sox. He's facing Jack Cropper, who has been very impressive. Jack Cropper has gone the distance for the A's
Officially,
here
yeah.
in Game 3.
So let's see if he can close this thing out.
And he blazes that one in there to Simon Jawha here in the bottom of the 7th. So he's ahead 0-2 to the White Sox center fielder.
Here we go, Simon. Good eye. Leave it.
In doing the stats in between the innings with Denny, one of the things that we saw about Jack Cropper was only in one inning were the White Sox able to get the leadoff batter aboard, and that was in the 4th. That is impressive, Denny.
Yeah. No, it's wire to wire, really, what he's been able to do in this do or die Game 3, and it's exactly what the A's needed to.
And that was about as hard as you can hit a ball by Simon Jawha, but it was caught out there by George Tolman.
Yeah,
that was a rope.
He stopped me right in my tracks. I was finishing a point, and I just stood there in awe. I was like, oh my God.
He turned on that fastball about as well as you can. So Simon Jawha is retired. 1 out in the bottom of the 7th. This will bring up Ethan Brownbill. Ethan Brownbill officially is 0 for 2 on the night. This tells you what kind of a night it's been for Jack Cropper. This is his 3rd time up, Denny, and it's the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, it's he's made quick work. There's really not a lot he's done wrong in this game.
That one's out around second base. And a nice play to get the 2nd out for the A's.
So they can feel it here.
Ethan Brownbill is retired 4-3. This will bring up tonight's pitcher, tonight's starting pitcher, number 6, Joe Petrozelli. And he's officially 0 for 2 on the night against Jack Cropper. He takes strike 1. He bats for the 3rd time as well.
Hey, Joe!
So 1-1 is the count with 2 outs. The A's are 1 out away. And that's lifted into center field. And it drops. So Joe Petrozelli is aboard with a single to center field. This will bring up number 5, Jordan Woodley. He's officially 0 for 1 on the night against Jack Cropper.
8-5, here we go!
And Jack Cropper gets that first one in there. He's ahead 0 and 1.
8-5!
That one's fouled off to the left-hand side. So Jack Cropper is 1 strike away here in Game 3 of the 2019 Babe Ruth Championship Series from the Willett.
8, Jordan, 8-5!
And that's fair ball. And he tags him. And he tags out Jordan Whitley. And the A's are your 2019 Babe Ruth champions. That was an excellent Game 3, Dunny.
Absolutely. I mean, incredible effort by the A's. Great job by the White Sox, too. It's just an all-around good baseball game. You got to commend both sides.
Yeah, and as you said, we do want to give a shout-out to both teams. Both had excellent seasons. This was really well played, very high-quality Babe Ruth baseball all the way through. Want to give a shout-out to all the players for working hard all year and the coaching staffs. For the White Sox, their coaches are, of course, their head coach is John Lighthizer, Coach Lighty, the famous Coach Lighty. And they also had their assistant coaches were Mikey Dolliner and Pat Kavanaugh. And also for the A's, the 2019 Babe Ruth champions, A's, their head coach was George Hawley and the assistant Steve Grenham and Beaver Barrett. Again, want to congratulate both teams and the coaching staffs on a fantastic season. Any last thoughts there, Denny?
No, I mean, just when you look at like the standard for excellence when it comes to baseball at this age, you really got to look at this game. It was great offense, great defense, great pitching. Everything was there. Everything you wanted in a baseball game, you had, and it was a great job by the A's to get out to that early lead, protect it, and all around it was a very good job.
So the A's take the championship series 2-1, and again, congratulations to both teams, and special congratulations to those A's. Here comes the championship trophy, and we'll go down on the field for the trophy presentation.
Steve, get in there, kid. There you go.
Everybody smile.
All right, we're here with the Game 3 series clinching winning pitcher for Game 3, the 2019 Babe Ruth Championship Series, Jack Cropper. Jack, you go the distance in winning the series for the Athletics. What did you think was working tonight?
Well, I felt my fastball was on command tonight. Thought I could throw a first strike. Curveball, not so much, but we can get there every now and then.
Denny and I were doing the stats, and so you went the distance. You pitched all 7 innings. Only in 2 of those 7 innings were they able to get the leadoff runner aboard. That was pretty impressive.
Yeah, thank you. I just try to keep it low and away and see what I could do from there.
Another thing that I love is you weren't afraid to throw your breaking pitch. Regardless of where you were on the count, you have confidence in all your pitches?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, well, congratulations to Jack Cropper, the winning pitcher, in the clinching game for the 2019 Babe Ruth Championship Series. Congratulations, Jack.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so we're here with Coach Hawley right after your Game 3, your series clinching win over the White Sox. Congratulations on your Babe Ruth Championship, Coach Hawley.
Thank you very much. I have to admit I'm relieved. I've been with these kids for some of them for 3 years. We won 1 game each of the last 2 years, and they still stuck with it, with the idea that this year we would have a good team. And when you finish last or second to last, you get a chance to pick some kids. Unfortunately, we were able to get some they're really good baseball players, but they're great kids. I mean, they really are. I mean, I've been around them, and they're just a pleasure to be around. They're just good kids. Norwood High's doing a great job bringing them along in the school system. They should be proud. They're well-spoken. They're funny. And they come down and have a good time. And that's kind of the basic thing. I try to tell them you can't go over every situation. So some of the games don't look clean, like the other night when we had the bases. Well, they had guys on base and we didn't have the right coverages on the bunts. But I tell them, we don't spend 6 weeks in Florida getting ready for the season. So stuff like that's going to happen, and hopefully they realize it, and they do. So I'm just very fortunate. You know, they're all going to play baseball at a higher level. As I tell them at the beginning of the year, you're just passing through. You're heading through here, heading up to high school. Mr. Igo is waiting up at the high school for you. They're good kids. There's some good ones coming along, and we're lucky. We're lucky.
You know, Coach, as I watch your team, it was very obvious to me that you a really key point for you is for your players to learn the finer points of the game. That's something you really emphasize?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's one of the first things besides, you know, you got to respect each other when we first meet at the beginning of the year, is that we're going to learn from the first pitch to the last pitch. Kind of what I said before, you know, you can't cover every situation. So as the situations come up during the year, you got to step back and take a moment and say, okay, look at when this happens, you're supposed to be here, you're supposed to be over here. Think about this, you know, take a look at, you know, where the outfielders are playing or something like that. But yeah, absolutely, it's a learning. It's a learning. I mean, I was still talking to him over there in the top of the seventh about a situation that happened on the field, and I'm just passing them along, and you know, you want to give them as much as you can. And some kids don't necessarily want to learn, but when I start telling them about stuff that might help them, they're pretty much all ears. They want to get better, and they realize that some little things can be the difference between, you know, winning, losing, doing well, or whatever. So, yeah, absolutely. That's a big thing with me. Absolutely.
Well, Coach Hawley, I know that you've given so much to sports, in baseball in particular, in the town of Norwood. So thank you for all the years, all the great teams. Thank you for teaching those finer points to so many great young players.
Thanks, Doctor. I appreciate it. We're not done yet. Okay. I'm not done yet anyway.
I love it. I love it. Again, congratulations to Coach Hawley and the 2019 Babe Ruth champion A's.